Hey everyone, Gio here from Fandom United. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new, welcome. Basically, what I'm trying is an experiment where I recap the news of the day, whether it be news, rumors, set photos, leaks, etc. For the past couple of months, I have been doing that on Sunday streams, recapping the week that was. But I want to talk about things a lot quicker and get you information a lot sooner and make it more convenient for you. So, welcome. I hope everyone had a great day. I spent most of my day listening to Joe Rogan's podcast. And the reason why I was listening to it today is because Quentin Tarantino was his guest. And it was a 3 hour conversation where Tarantino talked about his entire filmography, the industry back then compared to now. It was a really informative conversation and a fun one. I'm a big Tarantino fan. I'm sure many of you out there are. So if you haven't seen this interview, I highly recommend it. Download Spotify. It's absolutely free. And tune in because it is a good one. So let's get into some news. We had quite a bit of news drop today. And just a reminder, this is news rumors that I find particularly interesting. So you're not going to see everything that you may have, come across on Twitter or Facebook or whatnot. So if you have any suggestions, please do leave it in the comments. Let's start with our guy, Zack Snyder, my favorite filmmaker in Hollywood. We finally have an idea of what his next project is going to be. Yes, there was the Norse mythology animated series that was announced for Netflix. That looks promising. But in regards to his live action, we now have an update. This comes from the Illuminati. And what they're saying is Zack Snyder's next movie will be the long rumored The Next Photograph, aka Horse Latitudes, which has been rumored to be in development for some time. As you can see on the bottom lower left side of your screen, it has a little description that reads, a veteran war photographer taking shots of a diplomat and his family as they are killed before teaming up with a trained soldier to find the murderer. And two names have been rumored to be attached to this project, actor Billy Crudup and Corey Stoll. Billy Crudup is a longtime collaborator of Zack Snyder. I enjoyed him as Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen, the 2009 movie. And Corey Stoll, I know from House of Cards, and he was also Yellow Jacket in Ant-Man, I believe. So this sounds very interesting because it's something that we've yet to see from Zack Snyder. It's nice to see him take a break from the genre movies. We know how those big budget studio projects, how stressful they are, and it's good to see him go back to something smaller, something that he considers a passion project. So Zack Snyder's next rumored movie, live action, is a veteran war drama, and I'm looking forward to this. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. Speaking of Zack Snyder, some new posters for Army of the Dead have been revealed from Netflix. They're all about this universe, this franchise, this world building, and I'm with it too. I can't wait to see where Army of Thieves goes, as well as the Army of the Dead prequel, Lost Vegas, and seeing the backstory of that Lost Vengeance crew that we saw in the beginning opening montage of Army of the Dead. I'm fascinated with the world. It's not a perfect movie, but I'm all in, and Netflix is as well. That's great to see. But moving on, we have something that really I don't quite understand. I mean, I get why they did it, but I don't quite understand. So it's been reported that Disney is changing the name of Boba Fett's ship, formerly known as Slave One. Here are some quotes that read, we're not calling it Slave One anymore. This is Boba Fett's starship, says Malcolm Lee Stockwell, Lego Star Wars lead designer. And there's another quote that reads, everybody is dropping the Slave One name. It's probably not something which has been announced publicly, but it is just something that Disney doesn't want to use anymore, says Jens Kronvold Fredrickson, Lego Star Wars design director. I When does it end? When does it end? Okay, it's no longer you're no longer allowed to tell fictional stories in Hollywood anymore. Okay, like I've yet to hear one person before this news was even reported complain about Boba Fett's ship and the name Slave One. It's a fictional story. It doesn't exist. But yet, we live in a time where, and somebody said this in a recent interview, where it used to be about checking 1 or 2 boxes. And now it's like you got to check 10, 20, 30 boxes and make sure that you please everybody. And it's ridiculous. Again, I've yet to hear one person complain. And if you're somebody who is happy about this news, good for you. Good for you. I hope this improves the quality of your life. But seriously, the name Slave One, and then there was a couple years ago, Slave Leia, and they had a problem with that. Now, I would have understood that if Leia had remained a slave for the rest of the movie. But no, she didn't. And yet still people had a problem with that. It's just like we're getting to a point now in Hollywood where you can't touch certain areas because people are going to freak out. I mean, if you're somebody who did not like the name Slave One, well, good. Now it's Boba Fett's starship, which is a stupid fucking name. I hope you sleep better at night. I don't understand it. You know, there was a time when we used to be excited about Disney and what they could do with the Star Wars franchise. Now, as far as Disney Plus, they're killing it with The Mandalorian and with the Book of Boba Fett. But their movies, on the other hand, I mean, it's a fucking shit show. And I don't understand it. I just, help me, please, in the comments. Explain why Slave One was such a big deal. I don't understand it. And you know what? I'm going to continue calling it Slave One because Boba Fett's starship is a stupid name. As far as I'm concerned, the Slave One has been around since Empire Strikes Back, a movie that a lot of us grew up watching. And we turned out okay. You know, we're decent human beings. We're flawed. That's what people need to understand, is that we're flawed human beings. And that's okay. Anyways, leave your thoughts on Slave One. Slave One's name change. I don't get it. But let's go to something that's a little bit more happier, positive. A movie that a lot of us grew up with, and that's Galaxy Quest, the long-rumored TV series. It's really happening. This news comes from The Times and basically reads, Succession writer Georgia Prickett revealed that she's working on the Galaxy Quest TV show with Simon Pegg. And that's it. Sigourney Weaver, a couple of years ago, talked about, or she teased the Long in Development show a few years back. But after the death of Alan Rickman, who was a big part of that of that movie, it was shelved for some time, understandably. I'd be lying if I said Alan Rickman's death, even, you know, it's been some years, would be a thought on everyone's mind if this Galaxy Quest series does end up, you know, happening, as in they shoot it, they release the first season. But I think it's a world worth going back to, especially because of how beloved it is for a lot of people who grew up watching that movie. I mean, it's a fun movie. And if Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, Sam Rockwell, Tony Shalhoub, they're all game, why not? Why not? It could be fun, especially if you have Simon Pegg attached. He seems to be really passionate about this. I mean, as we all are. So leave your thoughts down below for a Galaxy Quest TV series. If you haven't seen the movie, please watch Galaxy Quest. It is so much fun. I still need to watch the documentary too that came out recently. I believe it came out recently. That's something I needed to check out. But moving on to Marvel, Kevin Feige has confirmed what we all are excited about when the latest trailer for Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings released, and that's Abomination. Abomination fighting Wong. While Kevin Feige didn't confirm Wong, we all assume it's Wong. He did confirm that Abomination is back in the MCU, and he had a quote that read, "Some fans said this looks like a character they hadn't seen in many years named the Abomination, fighting a character that looks like Wong, And I can say that the reason it looks like that is because that is Abomination fighting Wong. It's a fun thing to have a character that we haven't had on a screen in over a decade show up again in the MCU. And to see fans on that little tag of a trailer recognize that and embrace that is great fun. Kevin Feige, thank you so much for including the Abomination again. Yes, 10 years, it's long overdue, okay? I'm more high on the Incredible Hulk than most are, okay? I think it's top 10 MCU films, and I'll happily do a video on that in the future. But to see the Abomination back is great news. It means they're further respecting and acknowledging the Incredible Hulk as a part of their universe. I mean, it's been largely ignored for the longest time until Thunderbolt Ross finally reappeared as, Thunderbolt Ross in the Captain America Civil War. So this is great news. I am finally happy to see the Abomination back, and it makes me even more excited for Shang-Chi. That latest trailer did a lot of right things. It was a lot of action. We got to see the powers and understand that mythology a little bit more. And so I'm looking forward to it. You guys let me know your thoughts on the Abomination reappearing and your thoughts on Shang-Chi. And lastly, we're going to talk about Black Widow. The review embargo has lifted. So if you don't want to know anything about Black Widow, end it here. Thank you so much for joining me. But let's take a look at some of the reviews that have shown up on the internet. And we're going to start with a couple of reviews that I pulled together, a healthy blend of male and females. Let's start with Dana Stevens from Slate. She says, I think I could say for the first time in years about a Marvel property that the next chapter cannot come soon enough. Interesting. Dan Murrell, a YouTube movie reviewer and somebody who I am a big fan of, says, Black Widow does not achieve greatness. Like so many other films, it achieves acceptability. Oof. And then Karen James from BBC says, maybe it's no surprise that the film is entertaining and full of action. It is unexpected, though, that Black Widow may be the least Avenger-like movie in the series so far. And then Scott Mendelson of Forbes says, the years too late solo flick for Scarlett Johansson's MCU superhero is both too much of a glorified backdoor pilot for its co-star and not up to par with the spy films and espionage thrillers it wishes to emulate. So as you can see, a little bit of a mixed bag, and these are from the top critics on Rotten Tomatoes. Take it with a grain of salt, okay? Form your own opinion, but I wanted to at least bring it up for the sake of conversation. I mean, y'all know how I feel about Rotten Tomatoes and, its aggregator site and what people, are confused about with that site. But it's kind of what I expected from Black Widow. I mean, I'm not jumping up and down of excitement. I think this movie should have happened 5, 6, 7 years ago. But nevertheless, I do have my ticket for the movie. I am going into it with an open mind. There are some shots I did like in the previous trailer, the most recent one for Black Widow. So let's hope if this is it for Scarlett Johansson's Natasha Romanoff, she goes out with a bang. I mean, we know what happens to her character. We saw what happened in Endgame. I don't understand why Disney keeps giving us solo movies for characters after they die on screen. They did this for Han Solo. He died in The Force Awakens. Boom. He gets a solo movie, literally called Solo. Natasha Romanoff dies in Endgame. Now she has a solo movie. Stop doing this, Disney. Stop killing characters and then giving them a solo movie. Like, this movie should have happened a long time ago. That's beside the point. But I just wanted to bring up some of the reviews for Black Widow. You guys let me know your thoughts if you've seen the movie or if you're going to see the movie, if you even plan on seeing the movie. Let me know your thoughts. I want to end it with this. There was something going on with WandaVision where everyone was freaking out because Disney updated the end credits scene for WandaVision. And this is a spoiler. I'm going to show a TikToker that breaks down basically the video of the change that happened in WandaVision and why it's nothing. So here it is.
If you haven't heard, Disney recently edited the after credit scene of the last episode of WandaVision. They added a lot of trees and removed this duck. But what people are mainly focused on is this thing coming down the hill. There's a lot of speculation, but here's proof that it's literally an editing mistake. What happened is someone noticed that this light shining through this window was distracting, so someone had to remove it. I don't know exactly what tool they used, but for this example, I'm just going to use After Effects' Content Aware Filler. I just mask out this area, roughly track it, and now it's gone. But what they forgot to do is remove it in the previous frames. Look, it perfectly lines up. That's literally all it is. I hope I cleared this up before people make any dumb guesses like
that looks like Doctor Strange, or heck, it could even be Vision.
Oh my god!
Man, if WandaVision taught me something, it's not to freak out about theories or what ifs or whatnot, because that's still a bad taste on my mouth. But, you know, I guess it's part of the fun too. But that's going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, this is an experiment. I will try to have videos Monday through Friday, as long as there's enough news that interests me or rumors that I want to talk about. But thank you again. Any feedback is greatly appreciated. Constructive criticism and a thumbs up would be great as well. Thank you so much. Gio here from Fandom United. Thank you for your time and subscriptions. I'll see you guys tomorrow, Wednesday, hopefully with some more news and updates. Until then, you guys take care. Have a good night.